everybody, and welcome to Nourish Senior Life. My name is Erica Rendon, owner of Comfort Keepers Barrie, and we are here today at the Kingsmere Retirement in Alliston doing our Nourish Senior Life cooking show. Today, we are basing our cooking on healthy, smart meals for the fall season, and we'll also be talking about fall prevention in terms of nutrition and how important it is. Also, Eve Laws will be joining us from Zares, doing a wonderful pumpkin ravioli. We truly hope you enjoy the show today.
Kingsmere Retirement Living is a place that seniors can truly call home. Floors 2 to 5 is for independent living, and folks are free to come and go as they please. And we have activities. We have lots of things for them to do, and the 6th floor is assisted living for perhaps those folks that just need a little bit of extra TLC. Following the Canada's Food Guide, we ensure that there's proper amounts of proteins, balanced with carbohydrates so that your sugars do stay normalized and your blood pressure stays normalized as well, because when you have a dip in either one of those, that's what can potentially make you fall. So all of those risk factors are taken into consideration. Here at the Kingsmere, we have one program called Nourish Senior Life, which talks about proper nutrition for seniors.
Thank you everybody for joining us today. We will be cooking a Mexican chicken quinoa salad. So one of the great benefits of this particular recipe is the fact that it has a lot of proteins, it has a lot of fresh vegetables, which are wonderful for your health in the fall season. So the recipe does call for quinoa, and I come from a South American country where quinoa is very important in our diet. One of the reasons being is that it is gluten-free, and it helps with any sort of digestive issues that you might have if you have trouble with digesting very heavy starches like potatoes, for instance. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the quinoa and we're going to heat it up in our pan with about 1.75 cups of water. Okay, so we're going to let that simmer just for a few minutes. And the water really absorbs the quinoa. It's a very fluffy starch to begin with, and it's, as mentioned before, it's very good for your digestive system. So we're just going to let that sit there for a few minutes. In terms of the rest of the vegetables that we're going to be using for this particular recipe, we've got your red and yellow peppers, which tend to be a bit sweeter, but they've got some very wonderful nutritious elements as well. So let's talk a little bit about the red bell pepper. They're low in calories, and they're also loaded with good nutrition. They're a great source of vitamin A and C, as well as potassium. So while we're waiting for this to simmer up here, we're going to start cutting our vegetables, and we are eating them raw for this particular recipe. And what we're going to want to do as well is, cut them small and cubed so they're not too big. The recipe does call for some jalapenos if you like a bit of the heat, but we'll stay away from that for now. We're also going to be using carrots, which we all know that carrots are wonderful for your eye health. but they're also wonderful for weight loss. They're nice and sweet, very hearty and very healthy as well. And again, because we're eating them raw, you can also dip those in a nice hummus as well as any light dips. Excited about this. This is going to be very, very good. So we're going to move on to the chicken, which as mentioned before is boneless, is skinless, and cut into small cubes in order to basically make the process of cooking it quicker. So we're going to throw that right in. So one of the other recommendations with this particular recipe is to add a Mexican flavor. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a little bit of this already pre-seasoned taco mix, we're gonna put it in with the chicken with a tiny little bit of water and have it cook with it. We're not gonna use a lot. We don't wanna overdo or overuse the power of it, so we'll just sprinkle it in. And I'm just gonna add a little bit of water. Perfect. And that'll also help speed up the cooking process as well. All right. So chicken is very high in protein. One of the quickest proteins to eat as well. Low in fat, low in sodium. Always a nice addition to any meal. So in this recipe as well, it does call for spinach. And again, spinach being another superfood, very high in minerals, and also the greener it is, the better. We've always talked about, Popeye and his spinach. So again, very healthy, allows for lots of nutrition and caloric intake that is good for you. Avocados. Okay, so this is another very important ingredient in this particular recipe. Again, a very high density fruit that is good to be used in all meals. You can use it as a side or mixed in with a salad. For myself being South American, again, this is a normal part of our everyday living. I used to eat avocados for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They're said to help with cholesterol issues, and they're also just very tasty. For some individuals, it's not a food of choice, but definitely if you're wanting to try something different and adding some additional taste to your meals, this is a great alternative. All right, so it looks like the chicken is just about done. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna chop up some of the spinach. Now these are already pre-washed, but if you are grabbing fresh spinach from the grocery store, you're gonna wanna douse them in some water. I am going to remove the stems as well, just because they're a little bit crunchier and harder to eat when they're on there. So you don't wanna chop them too thin or too small, but just enough to be able to mix them around in the recipe. And all of our ingredients today were bought at Zehrs. Can I mention the food drive? No, it'll already be passed, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we're just going to chop these up, not too finely, but just enough to be able to mix up into our lovely mixture of a salad. What I'll do now is we'll cut the avocado and we'll cube it. Oh, we're not. See? No good at this. No good at this. My mom was always good at cutting. Ah, all right. What we'll do is just cut it on here. One of my favorite things about avocados is guacamole. One of my favorites. After the chicken and the quinoa has mixed in together with the vegetables, we are going to use pre-made mild salsa, or if you can get creative and you're feeling like making your own salsa at home, it's just a nice texture and addition, and it brings about a bit of a liquid type of mixture to the salad as well. Again, very mild, but if you are feeling a little adventurous, you can always get maybe a hotter salsa or add some jalapenos, some bell peppers to add just a little bit of that heat to the salad. So now that the quinoa has been taken out of the freezer, we're going to take the quinoa first. We're going to take a mix of the vegetables on top. We're going to take a little bit of the salsa, mix it in. And a few bites of chicken. Right on top of it, as well as some avocado. And that is your Mexican quinoa chicken salad. The avocado in there. It's a nice change. The avocado is a very vibrant.
Is there a recipe for this?
There is. Yes, and I printed some off, so I will leave some.
Okay.
Yeah, and the raw vegetables are a nice change, and anything that you wouldn't use, you would just throw back in the fridge and have as a snack. It's important to get your vegetables, and sometimes, you know, overcooking them really takes out the nutrients. Yeah. So, let me get some more.
Just a little bit shy.
Oh.
That's it, I don't like fruits and vegetables.
I only like my protein. Exactly. They're smart. Took a little bit of the chicken. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, are you getting in there? Oh, there she is. So you like it, huh? That work?
Go for $1. Yeah.
Thank you, Erica, for that amazing grain bowl. So, my name is Eve, and I am a registered dietitian for Zehrs and Loblaws. And this time of year, a lot of my clients, they want to stay healthy, but obviously as the weather gets a little chilly, we want those comfort foods. So what would be better than pumpkin ravioli? It's definitely pumpkin season. I love pumpkins, but not just for pumpkin spice lattes, for actual pumpkins. And pumpkins are actually really nutritious. They have lots of beta carotene, which actually helps make vitamin A in our body and actually can help with our eyes. So, when making this dish, we are going to use the PC. It's pumpkin ravioli. If you can't find this exact one, I've seen other ones that are like butternut squash. You can use that as an alternative. Very important when you're cooking pasta is to follow the instructions, right? You want to have an al dente pasta. So this one's more of a fresh pasta, so it only takes 3 to 4 minutes, which is awesome because who wants to spend a lot of time in the kitchen, right? So what I did was I simply boiled the pasta right here for 3 to 4 minutes. I just took it off. What I recommend usually doing is once you take it out of the oven, once you're done boiling it, add a little bit of oil to it, right? It helps it not stick, which is really nice, right? A lot of people think to run it under cold water, but it's actually better to put a little olive oil on it because it actually prevents it from sticking. Okay, so now we got our pasta ready to go. We want to make a nice sauce. So I thought for this time of year, a nice sage sauce would be good. Kind of tastes like Christmas dinner and in a pasta dish. So you want to heat up your skillet to about medium-high heat. And what I actually like to use instead of butter is actually infused olive oil. So this one's garlic infused. You can get herb infused olive oil. So it's a great way to get those healthy fats, but also not having to add butter. So we want to add a little bit more of our butter, about 1/4 cup, right? This is going to make our sauce for the dish. So it's a great way. A lot of other pasta sauce is a lot of cream based, but this one's olive oil based, which is nice because you're gonna get the healthy fats out of this. And it tastes like garlic, and it smells like garlic. Who doesn't like garlic, right? With that, we're gonna add sage. So a lot of times, we have sage at Christmas time and then we never have it again, right? But sage is that great, like, earthy herb. It smells like Thanksgiving in an herb, right? So we wanna add this to our sauce. So we're gonna add about 4 leaves ripped up of sage. And I love, in restaurants, a lot of times they serve crispy sage. They actually deep fried the sage and it's so nice. It's a little bit of a thicker herb, so it can retain heat nice. Oh, this is very hot. You don't want to burn yourself. So you see the nice sage, and nice boils up, which is really good. Perfect. From that, I add lemon juice. So a lot of people don't think lemon juice for pasta, but it actually helps balance the flavors, right? If you find your pasta dish tastes a little flat, lemon juice is a great way to boost up that flavor. It also helps with digestion of the dish, right? So we need about half a lemon worth of juice. I always have to fish out the seeds, but that's okay. I think a lot of times we think of lemon for salads, but it's actually amazing in pastas. And when I grew up, I could eat a lemon straight. I always loved lemon, so I keep that passion going in my cooking. Okay, so that seems to be heating up pretty good. So we're gonna add our pasta right to the dish. That's what I like about this dish. It's very simple, only takes not that long, and it's very good to impress guests if they're coming, if you don't want to make a full Thanksgiving dinner, but you want to make something nice. Who doesn't like nice pasta? Right? And you can hear that sizzle. You just want to cook it for about, it depends, about 2 to 3 minutes. You just want to get a little bit of a crispness to it. So what I usually recommend for my clients is to actually serve your pasta on a bed of greens. So one of my all-time favorite is arugula. So arugula has that nice peppery, buttery taste, and it's also really high in lutein, which is an antioxidant that actually can help prevent cataracts in your eyes. So they're very good for eyes. It almost has very similar nutrition to spinach, right? But you might be a little bit bored of spinach, so this is a great alternative. All right, so you can see there we got our lovely arugula. Has anyone had arugula before? Yeah, it's very nice, right? I know some people don't like it as much, but I love it. Okay, so when I would serve this for myself, I would actually add a good handful of arugula, right? So it's almost like having a salad, but you're tricking yourself because you're actually having pasta, right? So it's a great way to get your phytonutrients in and also get your pasta, right? Especially on this time of year. You see here how the ravioli has that nice crispness to it. Yep. So what I would do now is I would plate my ravioli on my bed of greens. About 5 raviolis is a nice portion. Obviously, if you didn't have it without the greens, you would feel not satisfied. But when you amp it up with the protein and the greens, it really helps. All right, so we got our lovely raviolis there, but I want to take it to the next level. And with our pumpkin theme, we're actually going to add goat cheese and pumpkin seeds on top. So I really like this pre-crumbled goat's cheese. It's super convenient because you buy a thing of goat cheese and you don't use it all. This way, it's already crumbled and you just use what you need. So I'm just going to use a little sprinkle of goat cheese. And what's nice about goat cheese is actually lower fat than other cheeses. So it's a good way if you are looking to reduce your fat. It is a good way to do that. All right, and then on top of that, roasted pumpkin seeds. These ones are the PC Organic. They're lightly salted, and what's nice about these is they're very high in magnesium and zinc. They add a nice crunch, and they will add a little bit of protein to our dish. So we just sprinkle that on. And it kind of looks like a 5-star restaurant dish, but you made it at home, and honestly, you could do it in 15 minutes if you're really ambitious. And then, as I said, just add a little turkey on it if you want to make it a full balanced meal. And there you go. Great way to impress your dishes or your friends. Anyone want to try?
And what do you think of this one? This is excellent.
Awesome. It's very light too, which is nice this time of year. Yeah, awesome. And you know, you can feel good that you have antioxidants, protein. The dog wants one. I'm sorry. Maybe later.
Thank you so much, Eve, for joining us today. I really enjoyed the pumpkin ravioli. Definitely a wonderful meal for the fall season.
Well, thank you, Erica, for having me. I love the Mexican bowl. I'm definitely making that for lunch tomorrow.
Excellent. Well, a huge thank you to the Kingsmere Retirement for having us here in Alliston, and a huge thanks again to Eve from Zares.
My pleasure. And I hope to see you guys next time.
Hi, I'm Diane Weber-Hamilton, Doctor of Audiology. Our goal is to have you hearing your best and enjoying life to the fullest. If you're looking for the highest level of professional hearing care, you can contact my office today, and let's change how you hear the world.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media. This is Rogers TV. Barry.
I was in the office that morning, and all of a sudden the TV, flashes, breaking story, and they show a picture of the World Trade Center.
Then a pilot